Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom YouTube channel, and welcome back to our ongoing healthcare series with the top naturopathic physician, not just in the country, but I believe the world, Dr. Peter Glidden. A little background on Peter. He attended Williams College and then obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in pre-medical studies from the University of Massachusetts. He then obtained his doctoral degree in naturopathic medicine from Bastyr University in Seattle, Washington. He's a member of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians, and presently, and has been since 1992, is in private practice in naturopathic medicine and has been licensed to practice naturopathic medicine since 1992. Now, in addition to his phenomenal clinical skills, and if you look at the comments of our past videos, I think this is number 11 or 12 we've done now, Peter, but a number of Peter's former patients have actually dropped comments on the YouTube channel talking about how Peter has made an incredible difference in their lives and how his approach to, if you will, imbalances in folks' nutritional well-being and enhancing their nutritional well-being has changed their lives. But in addition to his phenomenal clinical skills, Peter is a fantastic author, and he is the author of two books that are the cornerstone of our library, medical library here in our home. Everybody is Sick, and I Know Why, authored by Peter Glidden, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available on Amazon. Today we want to focus on Big Pharma's monopolized market and medical nutrition's best kept secret. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform.
Thanks a lot, Dave. How time flies, right? Man, we're doing this for 31 years now. What about you? How long have you been doing this?
I practiced orthopedic surgery for 32 years. Wow. And retired January 1st, 2017 from the active practice of medicine, but have continued my work in the prevention-related research. So it's been, it is fast. It goes incredibly fast.
Well, you know what Groucho Marx said, time flies like an arrow and fruit flies like a banana.
Right. Yeah. Boom. No, it is incredible. And here's the thing, though, Peter. As far back as when I started in medicine, and I believe it's when you started in medicine, Big Pharma, the big pharmaceutical companies, even 30-some years ago, had huge power, because most people think that this is just in the last 5 years, 10 years max, that big pharmaceutical companies have gotten power. Peter, when I look back at my medical school, and actually any medical school where my friends graduated from through residency, through fellowship and the like, all you have to do is look at the endowed chairs, right, in the medical school, or even entire medical schools named after a pharmaceutical company, right? And essentially they own, if you will, the curriculum of what's being pushed down the student's throat, who then go out into practice.
Right. It's an interesting thing to talk about. The best place to hide something is in plain sight.
True.
And we haven't had a free medical market since the early 1900s, 1912 to be exact. And 1912, with the help of the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, right? This is one of the Rockefellers and the Carnegies oftentimes would pool their talent and their resources and their finances towards a common goal, right? So they wanted to have control over the development and delivery of medicine. Mm-hmm. And they accomplished that through a number of different things, the Flexner Report and giving the American Medical Association lots of money. But long story short, in 1912, Congress granted the American Medical Association exclusive control over who could and who couldn't call themselves a doctor. And they pushed everybody else out, right? The naturopaths, the homeopaths, the herbalists, everybody who didn't prescribe drugs and promote surgery was kicked off of the bus of medicine. And it was a hostile takeover of the system of medicine, and it's been in place since 1912. That's 107 years. That's longer than anybody has been alive, right? So most people now, the younger generation, even people in our generation and our parents' generation, they look around and they see, well, son of a gun, the only medicine practiced in my hospital is MD medicine. The only medicine my insurance pays for, well, it's MD medicine. The only medicine they do research for on at my local hospital or research university is MD medicine. The only medicine they make TV shows about is MD medicine. And so people automatically think, well, the MDs must be better at what they do than everybody else because they're everywhere all the time. And it's a logical conclusion to come to. But in point of fact, the only reason that the MDs are everywhere all the time is because of the hostile takeover of medicine that happened a long time ago. And, you know, the unimaginable, and I'm choosing my words carefully here, the unimaginable vast wealth that the pharmaceutical industry has kept them in the top dog seat ever since. And look, we need to make distinctions here because it's not the drug, it's how it's used. I mean, thank God for insulin.
Right.
Thank God for lidocaine and the sterile technique, right? It's not
antibiotics, right?
Yeah, it's great stuff, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And a monopolization of a marketplace is never a good idea.
No.
When you have absolute power, it corrupts absolutely. And so the pharmaceutical industry has been in absolute, total, and utter control of the medical marketplace since 1912. And this leads to all kinds of shenanigans. I think you have an interesting story about Vioxx.
Yeah, it was an anti-inflammatory, and at the time there were two new ones that had come out at the time that supposedly were safer, Vioxx and Celebrex. And there were a number of research studies on it. They were approved by the FDA, and I found that patients that took Celebrex actually were getting some benefit from it. But I initially prescribed Vioxx to a couple patients, and within 24 hours, I got calls from both of those patients saying, hey, since I started this, my blood pressure has gone significantly higher. We had them immediately stop, and their blood pressure normalized. So I started speaking to some of my partners and some of the other folks that were on staff at the hospital and said, hey, have you tried this medication? Yeah. Have you had any callbacks from your patient? Well, yeah. I mean, almost everybody that went on it. So at the time, the HMO company and the insurance company was actually pushing Vioxx over Celebrex.
Right.
And it's because of the old kickback thing, right? Obviously, somebody was getting a kickback for Vioxx being used. So a number of us said, well, we're not doing that. And I, having been involved and continue to be involved, as I mentioned, in the research side of things, I contacted the pharmaceutical rep and said, look, you need to know this. There's a huge problem with your medication because virtually everybody that's gone on this has had hypertensive. Well, that's just anecdotal. No, it's not anecdotal. I surveyed a large number of physicians, and they just started trying this, and everybody's getting pulled off of it. Our patients. Well, next thing you know, Peter, it was a Tuesday. I had that conversation on a Friday. The following Tuesday, I'm in clinic, and the pharmaceutical rep shows up with some honchos from corporate headquarters. They walk in the office. Wow. And they came by the front desk, and I was walking up with a chart with a patient to give to my administrator at the front desk. And this rep introduced me to these two honchos from corporate, and they start, not figuratively, literally putting their fingers in my chest, telling me to be quiet about this, that I don't have the evidence that it's an FDA-approved drug, and I have to be quiet about it.
Unbelievable.
Okay? Now, anyone who knows me knows that doesn't go over very well. Right? I mean, the bottom line is I had a lot of experience, even at that point, doing research. A lot of peer-reviewed published studies. Peer-reviewed published studies that have won national, international awards. Sat on editorial boards of medical journals. So I had a good feel about what was going on here. Well, here's the point. I told these folks they had to immediately leave the office. I actually contacted the HMO company and the insurance companies and the people in charge of the pharmacy at the medical complex that I was associated with, and I got no satisfaction. Even after I told them the reaction of these pharmaceutical gurus,
no kidding.
suits. Yeah, did not. And it turned out that about a year and a half later, Peter, the drug ended up being pulled off the market because of significant side effects with blood pressure and heart issues.
Imagine that. Vioxx killed 60,000 people, and that's a ballpark estimate. And Vioxx was allowed introduction into the FDA fast-tracked it because somebody was glad-handing somebody in the smoke-filled back room. And the research that showed Vioxx had net negative effects was not published. The research that showed that it had positive effects was published, and it was allowed entrance into the marketplace, and it killed 60,000 people, and that's why it was removed from the marketplace. This is a really small little window into what happens inside of a medical monopoly. It's a self-policing, self-regulating industry, and that just opens the doors wide for corruption. There was a woman who was one of the editors. I think it was either the New England Journal of Medicine or the Lancet. I forget which one, but her name was Angel, Angell. Maybe it was Angel. I don't know how to pronounce it. But when she retired, and I'm paraphrasing, here's what she said. She said that medical journals have basically devolved into information laundering apparati for pharmaceutical companies. And so if a pharmaceutical company introduces one drug, has one new drug, and they do 100 research studies on it, and 90 of those research studies show negative effects, and 10 of the research studies show positive effects, they're only going to publish the 10 that show positive effects. And this was the editor of one of the most prestigious medical journals in the world. Now, she didn't say that when she still had a job, because she would have been fired. She said it after she retired, and this is the tip of the iceberg, right? So monopoly's not good, but the monopoly's been in place for so long that most people don't even recognize it as a monopoly. It's hiding in plain sight. And because of the monopoly, right, people don't have access to the type of medicine that myself and my colleagues do. The research that's needed to happen here isn't funded because of the political reach that the pharmaceutical industry has. And it's a gigantic problem hiding in plain sight. This is, by the way, where the term alternative came from. I don't practice alternative medicine.
No, you
I think it's a derogatory term. It's like saying, well, the only dog that's a real dog is a German Shepherd and every other dog is an alternative dog. It's nonsense. It's interesting. Another manifestation of the monopolization.
So go back to medical school education. My medical school education 30-some years ago, we had no foundation, background, education in nutritional well-being, in supplementation, in the like. Now, so some people say, well, yeah, but it's different now, Dave. Well, my daughter graduated from medical school 4 years ago, and I asked her, what type of education background do they give you in nutritional support? And she said, Dad, none. Well, so from that standpoint, right? But if I asked her about a certain medication, right, and tell me about XYZ medication, she could tell me because she learned about it in pharmacology.
Right.
Right.
This is an interesting distinction to talk about, and whoever coined the term, medical doctor, was a brilliant public relations person, because there's nobody practices medicine, right? Medicine is like a big umbrella.
Right.
saying that members of your profession practice medicine is not truth in advertising. Your profession practices allopathic medicine.
That's right.
My profession practices naturopathic medicine. And
right.
These are interesting and important distinctions.
They are.
You know, allopathic medicine is fantastic for certain things, horrible for other things. Same with my profession. Don't go to a naturopath if you have a bullet in your arm
right.
or, you know, a bleeding artery. It's the
right.
wrong dog for the hunt.
Right.
But because we are not educated, the general public is not educated in these distinctions, you know, people think, wow, the only person that practices real medicine has an MD after their name, and everybody else practices some, you know, unsafe, unproven, unscientific method, it's really just a lie, which is propagated by the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
The big pharma spends $5 billion a year on lobbying Congress. So, $5 billion a year.
So look at this series. This is like a microcosm, the series we're doing, Peter. Big Pharma is not happy with us doing this, okay? But I can tell you something. I have been contacted by a number of MDs, allopathic physicians, like I was trained, that have thanked me for doing this series.
Yeah.
Okay? I have not had an allopathic physician, an MD, contact me and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
In fact, allopathic physicians, MDs, have contacted me and said, hey, Dave, you know that series you do with Dr. Glidden? That's the most education I've had in my entire career when it comes to the nutritional side to the equation.
Well, this is the strength of the whole thing, because in the final analysis, whether you're an allopath or a naturopath, you're a scientist. Yeah. And you know, science doesn't care whether you believe in it or not, because, you know, if you throw something up, it's going to come down at 33 feet per second because there are laws that are at play here. So when someone like myself gets up and just tells the truth, then people who really do have a scientific background, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, son of a gun, makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. And this is, honestly, Dave, this is the only thing that keeps my profession going, you know, because this is a hostile political climate, you know, levied against the naturopaths and everybody who doesn't prescribe pharmacy, everybody who's not an allopath. The only reason that we continue to exist and even grow is because it works. We're telling the truth. And for goodness sakes, it really is only a matter of time until this stuff works itself into the mainstream.
Well, and as we've discussed before,
we're just ahead of the curve.
You are ahead of the curve. And in fact, here's an example. And we've talked about this before. I have significant arthritis, right? And for years, I was taking pharmaceutical-grade anti-inflammatories, Motrin, arthritis-strain Tylenol, and my symptoms were progressing. Yeah. And my activity level was diminishing. Yeah. And Peter, you were saying, Dave, you got to get your nutritional foundation better, okay? You got to, you know. And I'm like, Peter, I eat healthy. Come on now. I eat healthy, and I eat good stuff. And come on. And finally, as I was going up on the meds and they were talking about it, and I said, you know, I'm gonna give what Peter has suggested. I'm gonna give it a try. Okay. So I started on something that we've discussed before, right? This Healthy Body Start Pack, right? And knowing full well, Peter, that it probably wasn't going to work. And Peter, within 2 weeks, I was off the pharmaceutical-grade anti-inflammatory. At the end of a month, no pharmaceutical-grade anti-inflammatory, no Motrin, no arthritis-strain Tylenol. Yeah. And I haven't gone back to them.
You know, the truth will out, right? Eventually the truth will out. And if you stop putting diesel fuel into an unleaded engine and you tune that engine up, the car is probably going to run better, right?
Right.
It's not rocket science. And this is our whole basic message here, right? Which is unknown by the vast majority of people, of lay people, or even medical professionals don't know this because they're not trained in it.
True.
And the monopoly in the pharmaceutical industry does not want this information in the public arena. Thank God for YouTube. Right. Thank God for Facebook. That's the only way that we're able to propagate this message. And, you know, hopefully they won't They won't blacklist us, for goodness sakes. So our basic premise here is that the human body needs raw materials in order to function the way that nature and God intended it to. Mm-hmm. Those raw materials are called essential nutrients. An essential nutrient is something your body needs, but it can't make. It needs to go down the hatch. There are 90 of them, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids for a grand total of 90. Who knows? We might discover 3 more this year. There might be 93. Who knows? Science goes on, right? But right now, 90 essential nutrients. The problem is that these 90 nutrients are not all present in the food. Some of them are, a lot of them aren't. So as time goes by, your body becomes deficient in nutrients.
Right.
And when the deficiencies reach a certain level of lowness, things start to break. And then you're in trouble and you have a symptom or you have a diagnosis and you go to a conventionally trained allopathic doctor because they're the only show in town thanks to the monopoly.
Right.
And those, well-intended, smart, honest people, they have no training in what to do besides throw a drug at it.
Right.
And so, the drug doesn't alter the deficiency. And so the drug just manages the problem. And then you become more deficient.
Right.
And then the drug needs to be increased or a second or a third and so forth and so on. And so we go down the road into oblivion. And so, you're 60 years old. You've got no hair. You've got dentures. You've got 2 hearing aids. You've got, had cataract surgery on both eyes. You have 3 fused vertebrae in your neck. You're on a thyroid medication. You have no gallbladder. You have no appendix. You have 3 fake hips, 2 fake knees. You need a prescription medicine to pee, a prescription medicine not to pee, a prescription medicine to fall asleep, a prescription medicine to wake up, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And this has become the new normal.
Yeah. Everybody's become Elvis.
That's right.
Right.
And, 1/3 of the population's overweight, and it's the new normal. And, life expectancy is getting shorter. It's the new normal. Infertility is on the rise. It's the new normal. Autism, it's the new normal. Right. But it's not normal with my patients, right? In the naturopathic community. This is the normal inside of the undernutrified zone. Right. And this is not a panacea cure-all for all human ailments, but it's a really smart, sophisticated, science-based, clinically verified mandate. Your body needs the 90 essential nutrients, period. You need to stop eating food that's gumming up the works, period.
Right.
This stuff is mandatory. So,
So let's talk. So it's really, if it's anything, it's medical nutrition's best kept secret. The big pharmaceutical companies don't want anybody to know about. So you say about the 90 essential nutrients, and so then people say, okay, well, how do I get that? I initially, Peter, fell into the trap. Well, I'm just going to eat more healthy, right? And I can eat a lot of the good stuff, and that'll have a lot of the 90 in it, and that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And it wasn't until I started taking what you told me to take, this healthy body start pack that had the right balance of these 90 nutrients. Now, to make it easy, we have those products available on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Full disclosure, if folks purchase from there, yes, there are some added benefits from purchasing from OperationFreedomHealth.com that they're not going to get from any other place, such as we have an entire health team that can answer questions and are available, the pricing, but also, Peter, there's something you're going to do for folks that purchase through Operation Freedom Health, and that's an exclusive, if you will, webinar that in folks that do sign up. It's kind of the continuing education about nutrition and how to take supplements and the like, and that's something you're going to be doing for folks that do sign up, that do order through OperationFreedomHealth.com to be there, to not just, okay, here are the products that, okay, best of luck, see you later. We do have that healthcare team that are there questions that I don't know of any other organization that has that, but also now we're going to add this exclusive, if you will, chat room with you that's going to occur every other week or so on the continuing education of nutritional supplementation. Folks purchase from OperationFreedomHealth.com. It does support the Operation Freedom YouTube channel in our platform. Peter, go through, because many people are saying what I said initially. I'll get enough through just eating the right stuff and a lot of it, and I'll be okay. That'll be good. The Healthy Body Start Pack, the 90 nutrients. It's not only you're getting the right stuff. It's how they're balanced and how your body absorbs them. That's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, not all nutritional supplements are created equally, right? It's like wine or chicken soup, right? They're all different based on all of these variables, right? So it's the same with nutritional supplements. Which vitamins are present, what form are they present in, what cofactors are there, what's not there, right? There are all of these variables that need to be taken into consideration, which makes this brand of nutritional supplements run-of-the-mill, this brand of nutritional supplements good, and this brand of nutritional supplements exceptional. Now, I've been doing this for 30 years now. It'll be 31 years next month. My, oh my, how time flies. And I have access to nutritional supplements that you can only get as a doctor. You can't get that stuff as in the general public. Can't do it. Can't buy it on YouTube. Can't buy it on eBay. You need a prescription for it. And I'm after 30 years of clinical experience, the products produced by the Longevity Company that are sold at Operation Freedom Health are the most effective recipes, the most well put together recipes I've seen. I mean, they're based on $25 million of research by Dr. Wallach and decades of experience as a licensed naturopathic doctor. It doesn't get any better than that. So it makes a difference, right? The recipes make the difference. And these recipes are amongst the best recipes I've seen. And they're certainly the most clinically effective recipes that I've ever seen.
And the most cost effective.
Yeah, because that's another thing to talk about. If you tried to you got a list of the 90 essential nutrients.
Right.
And you went to a health food store and you tried to cobble those together.
Yeah.
By taking this one off the shelf and that one off the shelf, it would cost you 3 times as much as one Healthy Body Start Pack does, and you probably wouldn't absorb it as well.
Right.
Who wants to be taking 90 different tablets every day? You want to do that? No, I don't want to do that.
Well, I won't. I mean, compliance is a huge thing with patients. Can you imagine? Compliance, just for me, just look at me. I won't do that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge issue. And, the longevity people have sorted all of that out and made it easy for you and made it easy for you. And another thing I do want to say here is that you can get longevity products through many different areas. Right? There are many different distributors and people all around the world who sell longevity products, and that's a great thing. But one of the mandates that the Longevity Company has is that everybody has to sell it at the same price point.
Right.
So no matter where you get it, you're going to pay the same amount for it. So you might as well get it through Operation Freedom Health because you're going to support Dave's cause. You're going to support this network. You're going to support the work that's being done here. Dude, this stuff isn't free, for goodness sakes. So you might as well purchase the stuff and give a little help to the person that's bringing you this message, number one. And number two, for the people who purchase through Operation Freedom Health, we are going to start rolling out next week is the first iteration of a free continuing education series for people that have purchased their stuff through Operation Freedom Health. And next week, we're going to be talking about how to get the most bang for your dollar, the most bang for your buck with these nutritional supplements, because you're absolutely right. It's not ultimately what you swallow, it's what you absorb.
Right.
So we have to take the right recipes, but we have to take them in the way that optimizes and maximizes their absorption. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. It's really not that difficult, but you need to know how to do it. We're going to talk about that next week by way of supporting the base here, because as God is my witness, people are suffering needlessly here. And your body's ability to fix itself is much greater than the pharmaceutical industry wants you to know. I'm very, very, very honored and happy, and like Hubert Humphrey used to say, pleased as punch to be able to disseminate this information to your listeners.
Well, and I thank you, Peter, because it's information folks aren't going to get from any other source. And the way that's going to be transferred, is my understanding, Peter, is that when folks purchase products through OperationFreedomHealth.com, they will then get an email notification of these webinars, of these continuing education webinars that you're going to be putting on for folks that support the platform. And
yeah, that's how we're going to advertise it. So if you've purchased products here, make sure you check your email on a regular basis.
Peter, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. You are an incredible resource for anyone and everyone willing to keep an open mind and therefore create a better heart. I encourage folks to get Peter's books. They're fantastic. Everybody is sick, and I know why, and attempt a cure with holistic medicine. Peter, again, I'd like to thank you, and as we sign off every segment, thanks for your time, folks. Signing off, dream big and dare to fail. Next time, we're looking forward to seeing you again.